there is a stigma around STIs. Even with perfect hygiene, people are still getting UTIs. Especially Black women have been subjected. They've been used, they've been studied, they've been cut open and experimented on without consent. Period pain is normal, but period pain that interferes with your daily life is not. What if the reason you haven't gotten answers isn't because your body is broken, but because the system was never built to listen to you? Welcome to G Chats. Hi guys, welcome back to G Chats with your host Gianna Jara here in the G Spot. Today's episode is kind of unplanned. I have like a few notes, but everybody is talking about Love Island. And one of the things that I see all the time on the internet every single summer that Love Island comes out is some level of discourse of how they do it, like spending 8 weeks or 12 weeks, however long they're in that villa for. And I just saw a video go viral literally the other day, and there was a girl who made a TikTok saying, how are these people like farting at night, or what are they doing while they're in the villa with complete strangers? And it got me thinking. So actually, to preface, I'm not a long-time Love Island watcher, and I saw the clips all over social media. So I kind of like watched Love Island through TikTok. And then last year, unfortunately, was my very first year watching Love Island. And I vowed that I would not watch Love Island again. And here I am in 2026 watching Love Island for the second year in a row. And the same questions kind of pop in my head. It was so funny when I saw that video of the girls saying like, how are they farting in front of each other? Like, what are they doing? I was like, wait, how are they pooping? How are they doing this? So I wanted to run through like some things that I genuinely have no idea how they're doing it inside of that villa. And I made some notes because I was like, I don't want to forget about these. And number one is their periods. I don't know how they're filming on their periods. Now, I understand there's probably a handful of them that are on some form of birth control. So maybe they're not getting their periods if they're on like Nexplanon or something like that. But surely not every single girl who's in the villa every single year is on birth control, right? Or like on some form where they're not getting their period. It's my understanding like they must be, or maybe honestly, maybe they are getting their periods and like they don't have like heavy flows. I'm looking at it from a perspective of, for backstory, I'm someone who literally has had heavy and painful periods my entire life. My periods have always been heavy. They've always been painful. And so I just cannot imagine being in a villa for all these weeks. I'm assuming it's 3 months. To be honest, I don't even know how long they're in the villa for. I don't even recall when Love Island ends. I think it ends in August, right? Or is that way too long? I don't know, but for pretty much all of the summer. And I just could not imagine myself on my menses throughout that time, like once a month, and having to film, having to do challenges. I just saw the new look for today's episode of Love Island. It's like a lingerie challenge that's, they said like a slumber party or whatever. I haven't seen the episode yet, but the girls are in white thongs. What do you do if you're on your period? Do they change the challenge for everyone? Like, what if I was in the villa and I was like, oh, like I'm on my period. What do they do? Just always wonder that the ladies are always in bikinis, like thong bikinis. Maybe because I'm a new watcher, I'm not aware. Maybe past contestants have kind of made it obvious if they're like wearing shorts for the week or something like that. I could not be in a bikini bottom if I was on my period. I'm a pad user, so I would not be able to like put a pad on the bikini bottom and go about my day. Like I would be in shorts faithfully for the 4 to 5 days that I'm bleeding. And I also like, other than like the blood, the cramps, I wouldn't even want to be seen on camera. I wouldn't want to be speaking to anyone. I genuinely think I would get voted off. Like, I don't know how the girls are doing it. And I also like always wondered, are these conversations that they have when they're casting, like if someone has endometriosis, if someone has PCOS, like we know that these conditions affect so many women. So I always just really think, like, is this a part of their vetting process? Do they ask like, hey, do you get debilitating cramps? Do you have endo? Do you have PCOS? Like, are these girls like asked these questions? I don't know. It always fascinates me that to my knowledge, again, maybe I'm not aware because I haven't been watching Love Island for that long. Every year they just get 10 plus women to be on this beach in Fiji for X amount of weeks and nobody gets their period. If they all do, or maybe half of them do, let's say half are on birth control, the other half aren't, like in that scenario, like you would just never know what are they doing when it comes to like bleeding, and like sometimes their challenges involve a pool. How do they go swimming? I don't know. I've always wondered this, and I've just been thinking about it a lot. I used to watch when I was younger, like Are You the One? I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, and it's a dating show. I think there was a pool in Are You the One. When I was younger, I never put it together because they're there for a lot of weeks. But now that all of these like dating shows exist, especially the ones that are like out in the island, Temptation Island and the Love Island and all these things where there's like a beach involved, I just don't know how they're doing it. I have to strategically plan my vacations around my period because I don't want to be on my period while I'm on the beach, because I personally physically can't. So I don't know how they do it. God bless, but I would get voted off. The second thing that popped into my head after I saw the farting question was the pooping question. So I'm curious what the layouts of the bathrooms are in that villa. Is it stalls? Like, do they have stalls? And if they do, I could never imagine being able to comfortably poop in like a shared bathroom. Like, they have microphones, there's cameras, there's 10 different strangers. I don't think, like, I can't comfortably poop if my own mother is in the bathroom with me and my mom is my best friend. My bestest friends can be in the bathroom with me, and I don't think that I could comfortably poop, let alone with strangers. Or if it is one singular bathroom, like let's say it's a villa, they have one shared bedroom, I guess, and then maybe there's 5 bathrooms or 6 bathrooms, whatever the case may be, which I don't think it is. I think like we get clips of the guys brushing their teeth and like the dudes in the shower and stuff. So I think it's like almost a communal setup, like a dormitory. So and I lived in a dorm in college, and it was just a nightmare trying to poop. Like my freshman and sophomore year when the bathroom was shared, thankfully my junior and senior year I had my own apartment, so I had my own bathroom, but living in the dorms was actual hell because you were sharing a space and you never had privacy to go number 2. I mean, you really just had to hope everyone was in class, nobody was walking through those doors, and you could do what you needed to do. But it's like a stall, so it's not comfortable, and like they don't have their phones, so they can't scroll. So I'm just like, how are they pooping? And I'm not someone like that needs to be scrolling or sitting on the toilet for an hour, but even just like 5 minutes, I don't know. I can't go into even a public bathroom and poop comfortably. I just can't do it. So I don't know how they're pooping. Where are they pooping? How are they doing it with the lack of privacy? How is anyone having relaxed bowel movements? That's my main question. Okay, sitting at number 3, it's the kissing in the villa, the kissing. And I think that this is because I am a biomedical engineer who studies female reproductive health, but we got to go a little bit back into my background, and my background, a lot of it lives in microbiology. So I worked in a microbiology lab. The vaginal microbiome is microbiology, and that was like where my research in female reproductive health laid in the first like few years of my career. I was single-handedly focused on vaginal microbiome health, and that's microbiology. And I worked in a microbiology lab, a clinical lab, and so we were involved with patient specimens and stuff like that. And because I think I know too much about microbiology, I am so disgusted with how they're swapping spit. I don't know how they agree. I think a lot of people, when they share this sentiment, they're like, oh, maybe I'm a prude. I don't think that it's anything about being a prude. I just think the idea of swapping, like, because I understand that there's an oral microbiome. Like there's a microbiome in your mouth the same way there is a microbiome in your gut, the same way there is a microbiome in your vagina. There are microbiomes, and each person has like a unique microbiome that when it's healthy, it's similar, but it's not identical. And you just don't know these people. Do they... like during the vetting process, do they ask like, hey, do you floss every night? Do you tongue scrape every night? How do they know that these people are flossing their molars every single night? Because believe it or not, I see on TikTok almost all the time that people are like, oh, I go to sleep without like flossing. I have met people who have confidently said that they floss like once a year. is this a question during the intake, during the application round, during the interviews? Are they saying like, hey, do you floss your teeth every night? I don't know. How do they know, like, this person, they find someone on Instagram that looks aesthetically pleasing and they're like, yes, we want them on the show. This is a baddie. Like, oh, he's handsome. He's fine. Like, how do they know that he's brushing his teeth every night? How do they know that he's flossing? How do they know that he uses a tongue scraper? I don't know how they know these things. And then they put them in a show where within the first 5 minutes of meeting each other, they're in a challenge where they're literally tonguing each other and swapping spit. I'm like, they don't even know each other. They don't know anybody's oral hygiene. And what do you do if someone's like breath stinks? Like, what do they do? What does everyone do? Do they just not tell them? And I think I actually watched a video today. So the Year season 6, the one with PPG, Leah, Janae, and Serena, Kaylor was doing in honor of like Love Island being back or whatever. This year she made like a thing answering people's burning questions. And I think that she said that they have on hand Listerine little sheets, the Listerine ones that you put under your tongue at all times because of the kissing challenges and stuff like that. But I'm sorry, a Listerine strip does not help if someone has tonsil stones. It does not help if somebody has plaque in their teeth. It does not help if somebody is not taking care of their oral hygiene. Like, a Listerine strip literally gives you a second or two of minty freshness. It tingles, it burns. By the third makeout, the mint is gone, especially if you're swapping spit. That Listerine freshness, gone. It's out the door. So I don't know how they do it. I think I know too much about microbiology. I'm not saying that people's mouths are dirt. Well, yeah, I guess I am, but you don't know. You don't know. You really don't. So the bacterial transfer makes my stomach turn. Okay, number 4 is the hair removal question. Now, before I dive into it, I want to make one thing clear. I don't believe that everyone needs to remove hair if they don't want to. If you don't like removing your underarm hair, your pubic hair, your leg hair, I don't care. That is entirely up to you. However, on the show, from what I've seen, it appears that they are well groomed from what I've seen, especially with like the preview, for example, like I just talked about today. In the first look, these girls are in white thongs. I didn't see a bush in sight. So I think that the girls are like groomed. I'm pretty sure. I think they are. There was no hair showing through the white thong. And my question now becomes, how are they keeping up in like thong bikinis with no hair, no razor bumps? Like, how are they doing it? I'm someone who has very sensitive skin. So I personally like to shave. I shave my underarms, I shave my legs, I shave. My question is like, I have sensitive skin, and whether I wax or I shave, my skin is sensitive. It doesn't change it. The reason why I prefer shaving is because I can get rid of the hair more frequently than if I waxed. With waxing, you have to let the hair grow to a certain length before you can wax it out. With shaving, I feel like I can keep up with it a little bit better because you don't have to let it get too long. But because I have sensitive skin, I do have to let the hair like grow out a bit. Like, if I shave back to back days, I will have a rash. I will have irritation. So I cannot shave, let's say like Sundays are usually my shaving routines. I can't shave on a Sunday night, shave again a Monday night, shave again Tuesday night. My skin would start to itch. It would burn. I'd have red dots everywhere. So I kind of have to let the hair come out of the follicle and like break through the skin, which usually happens after, I want to say 4 days. Do a good exfoliation, whether with a scrub or a knit or something like that. Scrub the skin so that the hairs are like fully out of the skin. They pop through, and then shave again. But even then, they can't be too stubbly. Otherwise, I will break out. Like, they have to get a decent size, and it usually takes me, that's why I'm usually like a weekly shaver, but they have to like come out. But what I'm saying is the girls on Love Island don't even look like they have stubble. I don't know, maybe the camera doesn't pick up on it, which is like, I love that, because I would have to let the leg hair grow to some stubble. Like, it has to for me so that I don't break out. I just don't know how they're staying like bald 24/7. And do all of them shave? Because I know so many people who wax. So in that case, if they're waxing, you have to let the hairs grow to a certain length. And it's like, a decent size. It's not stubble. You need it long enough so the wax can pick up on it. So like, is there a waxer on site? If they're letting it grow, there's no shame in that. Like, women have body hair. That's not something that we need to be ashamed of. But my question is, how do they keep up with it, especially during these challenges where it's like close up? Like, Kenzie's over here doing the splits and there's not a razor bump in sight. Maybe it's too far to see, but sometimes these girls walk and the camera starts doing ass shots. Like, it gets shots of their butt cheeks and they're walking and they're like smooth and there's no hair on their legs. I don't know if it's editing, I don't know, but they always look smooth. They're in thong bikinis. You don't see any razor bumps, nothing. And I'm just like, how are they keeping up with this every day? Like, I genuinely would break out. The only place on my body that I can shave every single day with no irritation is my armpits. Like, that is a nightly routine every single night, quick shave, and I don't break out. My skin is used to it. I've been shaving for so many years under my arms, but my legs are so sensitive, like so sensitive. I cannot shave my legs back to back days. I can't even exfoliate the day after shaving my legs because I would break out because my skin is so sensitive after shaving, and it's equally as sensitive after waxing. So I've always just wondered how they do it, and I want to know because it's so nice that they can keep up with it and have smooth skin, or maybe they just don't and the camera doesn't show it. And hopefully nobody cares in that villa. I hope the guys don't care and I hope the girls don't care because it's normal. It's skin. Like, whose skin is perfect and doesn't break out? And if they're consistently finding women who have perfect skin, who don't break out and don't have sensitive skin, then God bless. Like, their vetting process must be incredible. Next up, and this is my lane, is the UTI question. I don't think that I could be in Fiji without having electrolytes on me, without having probiotics on me, without having some D-Manos on me, and a prayer, because I am traumatized from all my UTIs. And because of that trauma, I travel and pack preparing for UTI. I've gotten a little bit better with it because I don't want to train my nervous system to distrust my body. That's something that I worked through with my pelvic floor therapist. Something that we really talked about is not training the nervous system of you're going to get a UTI every single time that you travel. And so in the very beginning, and for backstory, I never really traveled a lot growing up. So once I became an adult and I was working as an engineer, I've had to travel for the business. I've had to travel. I started taking vacations with my boyfriend. So once we started traveling and I've been traveling more, I've been paranoid of a UTI because you're not home. What if you get a UTI, where do you pick up your antibiotics? You can't just like walk into an urgent care. If you're like in Cabo, for example, or me and my boyfriend went to Belize. If I'm in Belize, what do I do if I get a UTI? Like, where do I go? Do I go to a hospital? What happens with insurance? Do I pay out of pocket? It's a horrifying thought to me, and it just would crush me to get a UTI while on vacation. I literally am constantly preparing for a UTI. So I always, when I go to the airport and we go through customs, whatever, do the whole thing, get on the plane. I don't like peeing on the plane unless I absolutely have to. So I try not to. Then we land and I go pee. That first pee after the plane always burns. And I hate it because I was dehydrated. You know, I'm not drinking enough water because you can't bring water to the airport until after you get through TSA. And then if I buy a bottle of water or whatever, I don't want to drink too much because I don't want to pee on the plane. So I'll like take a quick pee before the plane, which sometimes I force myself to pee, and forcing myself to pee causes it to burn because I didn't need to pee, which is such an uncomfortable feeling. So then I get on that plane already paranoid because I'm feeling discomfort because I forced my pee out. So I'm already paranoid of a UTI, sit on a plane, however long that plane ride is. Like if I'm going all the way to the West Coast, it's 5-6 hours, not drinking water because I don't want to pee on the plane. I land without any water, go through, get my check bag, all these things, and then I take that first pee and it burns and I'm just paranoid. So I always try to pack packets of electrolytes. I take D-Manos with me always. D-Manos is something that I will take every single night while I'm traveling, just as a thing to calm my nervous system down, to know I'm flushing my urinary tract, bacteria can't stick. My probiotics come with me everywhere, especially now that I have my pill organizer. With Clarity and with Harmony come with me, and same with Thrive Immunity. In case I get sick, they come with me every single trip that I take, without a doubt. So I bring those with me, and I just don't know if any of the girls that they cast for Love Island ever go to the villa with any level of trauma. For me, it was UTIs. That's my story. I struggled with UTIs, but have any of them ever struggled with like BV or a yeast infection? And do they come prepared and say like, okay, I have these things on me in case, like, are they packing? I know some people like will use boric acid as a substitute. Like they're in Fiji. I don't know. Do they go to like a doctor if they feel off or they're having a yeast infection? I know like bathing suits and sitting in a wet bathing suit is a trigger for so many people. So if someone feels like they're having a yeast infection, like who's bringing them the diflucan? So do they bring boric acid with them and use it at night for maintenance? Or are they bringing probiotic suppositories? Like I just always wondered, what are they doing? Because for me, the UTI fear, especially with the combination of heat, bikinis, sweating, swimming, hot tubs, like dehydration, alcohol, and some of them are having sex, like that would personally terrify me. It just seems like a recipe for a urinary or vaginal infection, and I would be entering really prepared. The last question that I have is sleep. I honestly don't know how they are sleeping well whatsoever in that room. I think that a lot of this is a little bit biased for me because I grew up, I'm the only girl. I have two brothers. And for the first, I want to say 4 years of my life, I shared or 3 years. I think I was 3 years old. I shared a bedroom with my older brother because my little brother was a baby and had a crib. So me and my older brother shared a room, and I literally don't remember sharing a room. I was 3 years old. I was literally a toddler. So I don't even remember. And then once my younger brother got out of his crib and got put into a bed, we're each 2 years apart. So my older brother is 2 years older than me. My younger brother's 2 years younger than me. But whenever he got out of his crib, so maybe a year and a half, right? That sounds right. I think my mom immediately was like, we're putting the boys together. It just doesn't make sense to keep your younger brother in his room and you're getting older. So once my younger brother didn't need a crib anymore, he got a bed and my brothers shared a room. So my whole life had my own room. Very lucky. I know that that's not everyone's situation. So I grew up like just being able to sleep on my own. The first time that I didn't have to was when I got to college, and who's now one of my best friends, we knew each other from high school. We were close in high school, and then we went to the same university and we shared a room. It was very easy to adapt because we were already friends and we were already like close. Sleeping together was just so different for me because I wasn't used to it. And it's like when you have your own room, you have the privacy to like fart whenever you want, burp whenever you want, do whatever you want. It's your own room. But when you share it with someone, you have to be considerate of other people. And also, because I had my own room my entire life, I was never under the impression that I was a snorer, which I've never been told even by my own boyfriend that I snore. So I don't think that I snore because nobody's ever told me that I snore. I know that my boyfriend tells me like I talk in my sleep sometimes, which again, I would never know that if no one's sleeping next to me and telling me this. So I know that I talk in my sleep now because he tells me this. But before, I'm like, I never knew that. Even with grinding my teeth, he tells me sometimes he can hear me grinding my teeth. I didn't know that I grind my teeth when I sleep, but that was, I think, a big fear of mine. Is I was like, I've had my own room my entire life. If I was sleeping in a villa with 10, 20 different strangers, I don't know how I could be able to sleep comfortably. It's like, what if you fart in your sleep? What if you're grinding your teeth? What if you talk in your sleep? Or like my boyfriend, for example, he moves in his sleep a lot and he has very vivid dreams. And in his vivid dreams, he'll punch a wall, he'll talk, he'll say something. So it's like, what if you do something like that in the villa without realizing that you're doing it because you're not used to it? So I don't know. I just always wondered how they're sleeping together and how they're so comfortable, because even me, it was definitely a learning curve for the first time sharing a room with my roommate in college. And I was like, oh, this is different. I've never shared a room with someone before. And I don't know, like in the beginning, it was definitely something to get used to, let alone with like 20 different strangers. So those are kind of the things that come to the top of my head. Let me know down below, what are like the first things that you guys think of when you watch reality TV shows shows where, or like dating shows where they're all sharing a room or living together and things like that. What pops into your head? What are your burning questions of what the heck are they doing? How are they doing this? Where are they pooping? Whatever the question may be, let me know down below because I'm curious to hear your thoughts. I hope that this episode was fun and enjoyable. I hope that it gave you guys a little bit of a break. I know sometimes I post some very like serious topics around vaginal health and reproductive health. So I like to take some time to make some nice fun ones, something that's chill for me to film and chill for you guys to listen to. So I hope you enjoyed this episode and let me know what you want to see from me next in the next few episodes. I love you guys so much and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.